It's DJ B-Man.
We ready? I'll do the little intro here and then we'll kick it off. Years ago, our three hosts began a journey together as they watched all the Ernest films and TV shows in chronological order for a podcast. As that quest neared its end, our heroes were entrusted with the holy grail of all things Ernest, the binders of Unmade Ernest movie ideas. Having been blessed with this sacred text from the creators and writers of the Ernest franchise, they decided to share the treasures within with the world. They formed the Ernest P. Worrell Preservation Society and will gather regularly to discuss these films that never were. They are the bookkeepers of the binders, the purveyors of power tools. They are the Ernest P. Worrell Preservation Society. It's going to be a veritable extravaganza. Comprendo? Welcome to episode 2 of the Ernest P. Worrell Preservation Society. I am your host, Dustin, joined, of course, by my co-host and good old buddies, Derek.
Hello.
And Jason.
And I'm Jason.
Yep.
I can barely see you, Jason. You're covered almost from head to toe.
I've really, as everyone's laxing from the COVID, I'm ramping it up.
Okay.
I'm almost more scared now because I feel like everyone's like loosening the reins, and I gotta tighten them up. I gotta stay safe. I gotta stay healthy.
Well, I'm glad you're putting yourself at jeopardy, sitting at a table with us to talk about Ernest P. Worrell.
It's literally the only time I see daylight.
Okay.
Is when I come here.
So you're ramped up and ready for what I will refer to as the Ozark wave.
Mm-hmm. And will you please explain what that is to everyone at home?
Bunch of people being dipshits in the...
You can't say dipshits
False
on this
Serenity?
show.
Would you like to explain what that is?
Without swearing? Absolutely I would. People in a particular region deciding to go ape at a beach.
They watched that Jason Bateman show and got riled up.
They got all riled up.
Have you guys seen all the episodes of that Jason Bateman show, Apes at a Beach?
No.
Yeah.
I have not.
No,
It's-
great show.
It's really good.
It's so good.
Well, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Kind of it is.
You said apes.
It is a little bit.
I don't know if you guys... I'm sure you listened to show 1. Why would you listen and start at show 2?
What a weird place to jump
That
in.
was
Shame on you.
crazy.
I'm going straight for that sophomore slump
Hell
of an
yeah.
episode.
Heck yeah.
It's time to go bananas. Ernest Goes Bananas. That is what we're talking about this week.
And that's the noise a banana makes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, ah.
We had a family reunion last episode. Fun show. But I think this one could be even better.
Like, well, what's better, you think? Our podcast that we're doing? Or
Well,
the,
I mean...
the outcome of the film? Or
Why
what?
not both?
Okay.
Column A and column B.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we have is a 5-page script, not including the cover letter here, and it just says Ernest Goes Bananas, a movie treatment by somebody. And it is WGAE registered, no date, but as we go through the show, I have an idea
Details.
of a possible time frame.
What does WGAE mean?
Writers Guild of America, everybody.
Everybody. We can't say who wrote it.
We can't.
We cannot.
I know who did it though, because I can see.
Yeah,
it on the
we
paper.
know.
But you can't tell anyone.
We will say this is somebody who worked on other Ernest projects.
Are they still alive?
Yes.
But we're not gonna tell you.
But it's not an outsider. It's somebody who was in the camp, so to speak,
Pretty fun.
and wrote this. So, all right, we may as well get into it. This is a relatively short one, so there will be a lot of quoting and just reading directly because some of these bits, there's no reason to try and paraphrase them. Just read the whole thing.
We got the
Great
time,
beats.
right?
Yeah. All right. So, Ernest Goes Bananas. It starts out, Ernest works at a gym. He's hanging a punching bag, and a boxer begins using Ernest as his punching bag. He tries hiding. He gets hit in the face by another boxer. Then he fixes a rowing machine and decides to try it out.
This is we're a paragraph in, and
Yeah.
to me, we're checking every box so far.
Yeah.
What's his job? Okay, 'cause I think
Something menial.
as far as Ernest is concerned, we have boxes we got to check. and job is a huge one, and we got that immediately.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is this a good Ernest job?
Working at a gymnasium as a handyman, it could work.
It could work.
I'll allow it.
Yep.
And then right into the first, thankfully, many physical gags here.
Yes. I'm going to read this whole bit here. So he fixed the rowing machine. Everything works well at first, but soon the machine begins speeding up on its own. The machine rows faster and faster with Ernest still strapped in. Suddenly, the machine breaks free of its moorings, and Ernest and the machine row quickly through the gymnasium, into the pool, narrowly missing several swimmers, under the boxing ring mat, knocking 2 boxers over who stare in amazement at the lump gliding from one end of the mat to the other.
This is
Almost like a shark
bam.
fin or something.
Shark fin? What were you
Bugs
saying?
Bunny.
Bugs Bunny? I was going to say a graboid from the Tremors films.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what they're called?
I think they're called graboids, right? Is that
Oh,
what they
I
call
thought
them?
they were worms.
I think, you know what? Hey, listeners at home, let us know.
Let us know.
Graboid.
Hashtag graboid.
Yeah.
Okay. Into the judo room, where a group of instructors are holding wooden planks for their students to break. Ernest's head smashes through every plank on his way through the room. Finally,
That's funny.
the rower winds up in its original room, slams into the wall, and lands back on its moorings. Ernest stumbles out of the machine as an old, feeble man gets on. Ernest is about to warn the man when a manager yells at Ernest to meet him in the weight room. As Ernest is leaving, we see the old man start the machine and take off.
So right there.
I like that background.
I have that highlighted.
Especially
the
if
old
it's
man.
Bobby.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. In my head, I saw Bobby doing it, and he just takes off.
You know what? That I totally see that, but I want Bobby more involved in the film, and I have some ideas for that later. But that's a good start.
Yeah.
That was one paragraph you just read.
That was one paragraph.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's like the opening, 5-10 minutes?
This is
psych
this
gag
is
into
perfect.
awesome psych gag.
We're off to a great start.
And
Yes.
it reminded me, this is like Ernest Goes to Jail level slapstick with the floor waxer.
Exactly.
Where it is zipping him all around the
Yep,
room.
that's exactly what I was
and we're going all around the gymnasium.
The whole time you're getting that yell.
I love the head cracking all the judo boards.
There probably would have been a gong sound effect, if
Sure.
we're being honest.
Oh, there would have had to have been.
You know,
That's
long
a
duck
given.
gong style.
Yeah.
Automobile.
All right. So Ernest manager tells him to load all the weights into a van to take to the strongman competition at the fair.
I will continue reading from here. Ernest is having a difficult time moving the heavy weights. At one point, he attempts to pick up a barbell loaded with the weights. He does his best Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation and jerks up with the weights. When Ernest looks down, we see that he is standing in an upright position, but his arms haven't moved from the bar. His arms are now 5 feet long and dragging on the floor. In order to get his arms back to the original length, Ernest runs out of the gym into the pool area. I have so much to say about it.
Yeah.
He quickly climbs the high diving board. He places his nose plug over his nose, extends his arm over his head in a traditional diving position, turns around, and jumps off the board the wrong way. The impact from hitting the concrete, arms first, jams Ernest's arms back to their original state. End of paragraph.
Thoughts?
I don't like this exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
It's almost too cartoony.
Spaghetti arm Ernest. I wrote, all right, so this is dumber than Jail. This is more Rides Again Goes to School style slapstick.
There you go.
Which that's what, the further this goes on, it had me wondering if it's from that time frame.
Yeah.
Or at least that's just the vibe I'm getting.
It is-
It's
it
that
is,
Ernest verse.
Because the two funny parts here is that he puts the nose plug on. And the second part, which it comes actually before that, is instinctively Ernest knows to run up the high dive.
This is what I have to do.
Yeah, I not only do I have to do this, but like maybe I've read about it, or it's happened to me again before. I don't know. I get the slapstick part of it. I get the physical humor, but it's almost too over the top.
Yeah, that I didn't enjoy that one as much.
He made me read it.
Yeah, well, Ernest arrives at the fair. The weights get unloaded, and he hears yelling and cursing and the whine of an animal. Ernest sees Oren Blot, the trainer of an orangutan, named Biffy. Now, Orenblot is a weird name. I tried finding possible anagrams.
I was thinking Axl Rose.
And I couldn't...
You know that one? You know Axl Rose is an anagram.
I forgot what
Oral
it is.
something. I don't know if it can be said on the show. But I was trying to do the same thing with Orenblot. It does not spell the same thing.
Nope. Nope. So, there's an orangutan.
Oren is as mean can be. He beats Biffy, berates him, yells, withholds food, makes fun of him, etc. To Oren, Biffy is just a meal ticket, and he doesn't see him as a living creature. We hate Orenblot. We need shirts that say that.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Store
We
Frontier
hate Orenblot.
A reference
Nobody
gets.
No one will get.
We had a request for the Inagata Devita shirt, the long version,
Sure.
which that I think we could do. We just
Oh,
have
yeah.
to have somebody make a design that looks like those old iron-on letters or
that'd be
whatever.
great.
I got somebody to do that.
But the Orenblot one, that might be a tough sell. Orenblot's traveling sideshow circus.
Oh, see, that's a
we
little bit better.
hate
Yeah.
him.
An advertisement for his company. That's great.
Ernest confronts Oren and is told if he doesn't like it, he can take the orangutan's place. Oren shakes his bullwhip in Ernest's face and leaves. Ernest talks to Biffy, and when Biffy looks into Ernest's eyes, Ernest knows he must set the orangutan free. He does so. The orangutan plants a big wet kiss on Ernest's face, to which Ernest responds with his classic "ew."
Mm-hmm.
Monkey kisses.
Monkey kisses.
Can't go wrong with a monkey kiss.
To me,
The lips all
oh yeah.
upside down duck lips.
Oh yeah.
I can see it in my head.
This is the third check for me. Animal.
Mhm.
Put animal.
If you can't have a kid, have an animal.
Have an animal.
Would I love to have both? You bet.
Yeah.
I'll take what I can get. Animal.
What if it was a toddler, like a child orangutan? Does that combine the best of both worlds?
Yeah, I think that would count for both.
That might be too much.
Fantastic.
Ernest wipes off his mouth, and Biffy jumps out of the cage and shuts the door, trapping Ernest inside. The show begins, and the curtain rises, and Ernest begins performing as Biffy. The crowd loves it. He's doing all kinds of tricks
Monkey
and just
shenanigans.
yeah, monkey shenanigans. Oren is pleased with how well the crowd's reacting until he turns around and sees that it is Ernest and not Biffy. Oren then chases him out of the cage.
Now I think at this point what would have been perfect, if I may, this is a perfect scene for him to look in the audience, see the orangutan sitting in the audience, doing like this clapping with the kid, and then when he looks angry at the orangutan, you get your first of what will be many.
Yeah, that would have been good.
This is another great physical gag. Seeing Ernest act like a monkey in a cage, that'd be great. Doing flips and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on.
So now, this is a direct read here. Ernest is running through the fair with Oren at close range. Ernest runs through the shooting gallery and gets shot at. When he is hit, he stands up straight, turns like a robot, and walks the other way. Oren picks up a gun and begins shooting. Ernest ducks out. Ernest swims in the tunnel of love and scares the crap out of several lovers.
Crap.
Ernest runs into the haunted house
Which I meant.
and comes screaming in terror through the side wall, leaving a perfect imprint of his body. Oren is still in pursuit. Ernest takes a breather beside the ring the bell game. His foot is close to the impact disc, and the person swinging the sledgehammer smashes Ernest's foot flat as a pancake. Hey, great record by the band Head East, recorded right down the road.
True story.
Flat as a pancake.
Yep.
What's the song they had?
Never Been Any Reason.
Oh, that's a good song. Yeah.
It sounds like an AC/DC song when it starts, and it's got some great cowbell.
I always thought it was Boston.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Head
They
East.
sound similar, don't they? That song?
Yeah, kinda.
Boston, Kansas, Head East.
A little
like,
higher
all kinda
octave.
Yeah.
in that realm.
Okay. But they recorded right here.
The singer
Yeah,
for Head East
for real.
did not kill himself. The singer of Boston did.
Oh.
So, points for Head East.
There
Points
you
head
go.
east.
All right. While he's hopping around, the person smashes Ernest's other foot flat.
What?
Ernest hops into a tent and down the aisle of a crowded auditorium. It's an exhibition boxing match, and the MC is calling for a volunteer to fight the champ. Ernest hops up to the ring, and before he knows it, has boxing gloves on his hands and the champ is coming toward him.
I like this idea of him just popping in there and two guys just come up and put the gloves on him
Yeah.
immediately, and Ernest just kind of confused.
Isn't it? It's kind of like Pee-wee's Big Adventure where he does the rodeo thing.
Yes.
Yes.
He comes out dressed like a cowboy, and they're like, "Hey, here you go," and they just pick him up and put him on a bull. It's kind of the same thing. So Ernest, his feet are now flat. He has amazing standing power. Every time the champ hits Ernest, which is often, Ernest springs back up. He's basically like one of those bop it bags or whatever.
He weebles and wobbles, right?
Finally,
don't fall down.
the champ hits Ernest with a resounding blow. Ernest leans forward, nearly touching the mat, Smooth Criminal style.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like an inch from the ground. His nose barely, like air brakes.
Just kissing the floor.
Yeah. But because his feet are so long, he springs back and accidentally hits the champ, knocking him to the floor. The MC runs in the ring, and Ernest believes he is in trouble for knocking out the champ, so he runs.
With his big flat feet.
Yeah, this is literally a cartoon.
Yeah, and you had mentioned, like, this seems like it's in the same realm as Rides Again. He goes to school, and he even says in Rides Again, if I wasn't just that much of a living cartoon.
Right.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, this is straight up animated Ernest. Like, this could be a great cartoon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This Looney Tunes meets Ernest.
Is there anyone out there doing like a pitch perfect Ernest impression?
Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick does.
Oh, sorry, I got distracted
Pitch
when you said
Perfect.
Pitch Perfect.
Ah,
You did?
Yeah.
you silly goose, you.
If there was, what's stopping anyone from making an Ernest cartoon?
That's a fair question, especially in these quarantine times.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
So, is this bit too much? Did the script jump the shark a little bit on this one?
We're coming off of a scene where he jumped off a high dive to put his arms back in place. I think we're okay.
If
Okay.
you have one, you can have the other.
Yes, you can.
But if you take one out, you gotta take the other one out.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, Ernest thinks he's safe now, but Orin finds him and picks him up. Orin is about to kill him when he is suddenly hit
More
from
death!
behind and knocked out. Ernest opens his eyes and discovers that Biffy is the one who knocked out Orin. Biffy plants another big wet monkey kiss on Ernest, which gets the classic Ernest ew for the second time.
I saw that second video and I was like, come on. You laying the ooze on pretty thick.
Oh,
Pump the
just
brakes
wait,
on the
sir.
ooze.
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, I know.
Biffy and Ernest take off quickly as an MC comes yelling after them. Now we come to one of my favorite parts of the whole story.
I believe it.
Yep.
He's laughing already.
Because it's fantastic.
This part, I'm just going to preface it. The first time I read this script, which would have been months ago when we were first developing this show, I was reading several scripts a night just because I couldn't wait, and I wanted to consume as much of these as possible. Brianna is sleeping next to me in the bed, and I'm reading these and trying to stifle laughter as much as possible, and I'm like shaking the bed and like just doing the Lonnie Don.
Meaty part.
Yeah.
Meaty part of the ball.
I was like, God damn it, I'm gonna have to go in the other room.
I
And
think there was one or two times the first time I read it, I did laugh out loud. There's some genuinely funny stuff.
Oh, yeah.
all right, so
This
Ernest
definitely being one of them.
Ernest takes Biffy home, but he must sneak the monkey into his apartment because his landlady, Auntie Nelda, won't allow pets of any kind in the apartment, and she means it. So, this means other times we've seen Auntie Nelda, and it's Ernest doing drag. Now, he's living in her building. So unless this is a Norman Bates type of situation, they are two separate entities.
Yep.
Auntie Nelda is somebody, and Ernest is somebody, and they live not on the same cul-de-sac, in the same building now.
Yep.
That's exciting.
I'm for it.
It's I was watching Back to the Future the other day. I think Back to the Future 2. My daughter had turned on Netflix, and I like it because just other than being a good film, the limitations of the technology at the time to where when they go back to like 1954 whatever it is again, and Doc Brown runs into Doc Brown setting up the experiment,
Yeah.
and there's the light pole between them. He's like,
Oh,
"Can you
yeah.
hand me that 3/5?" He's like, "Don't you mean whatever?" So he like hands them behind the pole.
Mhm.
I keep thinking of like maybe over the top obvious ways that they have Auntie Nelda and Ernest in the same scene. I kept thinking of that while reading about this.
So Ernest owes 2 months back rent, which he promised Nelda he'd pay from his first check from the gymnasium.
I didn't know he just got the job.
He just got the job. Biffy, however, loves to make noise, as orangutans are wont to do.
Sure.
They got a party, man.
Biffy literally begins tearing Ernest's apartment to pieces. Auntie Nelda arrives, suspicious that Ernest has brought home a pet. Ernest lies and tells Nelda that his cousin Ernesto from the small eastern bloc country of Sylvania is visiting. I think I owned a TV that they made.
Sylvania?
Oh,
Sylvania,
they
yeah.
made electronics and light bulbs.
Yes. And also,
They bring things to light.
yeah.
They do.
So, Auntie Nelda doesn't believe him. There are several scenes in which Biffy terrorizes the house. So this paragraph is gonna last several minutes of the movie. Like, this is just the treatment, not a full script. So this would definitely be developed further into more wacky hijinks of Ernest's awesome apartment, I'm assuming, being destroyed. All kinds of tchotchkes and knickknacks.
Bric-a-brac.
Yeah, being destroyed by an orangutan.
Well, it says here that at one point he floods the place. I would like to see like each act of a destruction done separately,
Yep.
with kind of like maybe like a sweeping shot,
Yeah.
or like a panning of the screen to the next. So
Yeah, he leaves the water in the tub running and
Yeah.
it floods the apartment. He swings from the overhead light fixture, causing it to crash to the ground. Also, Biffy stinks.
I like that at the end. Just so we're clear,
He smells.
He stinks.
it's an ape and he smells very, very bad, very foul.
Finally, Auntie Nelda has had enough and demands to meet Ernesto, aka Biffy. Enter Biffy wearing one of Ernest's outfits. So we have the monkey in a denim vest,
Yep.
gray t-shirt, and a hat.
It can only go downhill from here. That's the best. Once you put ape in people clothes, it's
You
the best.
have hit. Yeah.
That's it.
Auntie Nelda is still suspicious, but the monkey is a pretty convincing relative of Ernest's. Ernest asks Nelda to join them for dinner as Ernesto is preparing one of his specialties, burrito surprise.
Can I tell you what I see in my head when I read this? The ape gets the orangutan gets the clothes on, right? I see a shot like a
Panning from his feet up.
well, the first is that
Yeah.
for sure. The reveal.
That's a
The,
given.
the hairy
That's a given.
feet, and then
Yeah.
it just like, there's denim and more denim.
Yeah.
He's doing that little monkey back and forth thing.
That's the reveal. And then what I see then is when Auntie
Perfect.
Nelda is in the door looking at them, and Ernest is explaining to her that this is his relative.
Mhm.
I want to see like a side shot of Ernest's face with the monkey kind of up here. You can see a side shot, and they're both making similar movements with
Okay,
their mouth.
yeah.
That's what I want to see. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Erne-
God, why wasn't this made?
Ernesto serves both Nelda and Ernest, then sits at the table himself. The monkey puts on a napkin, pours the water, and digs in. Auntie Nelda takes a bite out of the burrito surprise and is pleased, but she's still Auntie Nelda. I understand the burrito part, but what's the surprise? Just then, Ernesto lets out a loud and painfully odoriferous fart, to which Ernest remarks, "Surprise!" I was dying.
I had to stop for a sec at that point because I was just like, all right.
Monkey farts, and then Ernest is going, "Surprise!"
Well, like the monkey fart, I just pictured he stands up when she said, "What's the surprise?" He stands up in the chair and just bends over like he's about to stand on his head, as orangutans are wont to do, and just that. Oh yeah, perfect. Facing right at the table.
And that's where the video is going to end. To hear the rest of these monkey shenanigans, tune in soon. All you Patreon supporters will be getting the full episode a week early. So we hope you guys enjoyed the little sneak preview here, and you'll hear the rest of it very, very soon.